Okay. All right. It being 6 p.m. on November the 5th, 2025, I'd like to call the Town of Annapolis Royal Committee of the Whole to order. We have everyone present, three of us in the room, and Amory, Sandy, and Adele are joined by video conference as the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipality meetings. And Melanie will be presenting from the other room so she can have access to her computer. So we have no regrets, no absences. We have two additions to the agenda under the in-camera section. One is personnel matters, and the other is labor relations and contract negotiations. Are there any other additions? I think Amory's frozen.
None.
Okay, that being so then we will consider the agenda with those two additions adopted. Are there any conflict of interest issues that anyone wants to declare? All right, so we'll move on to the Committee of the Whole meetings from September the 3rd, 2025. Any comments or additions? Then we will consider them adopted also. There are no presentations from the public. Public have also agreed to waive the requirement to read the declaration about the meeting being live streamed. All right, so we'll begin with the new business then, if everyone's okay. So Melanie, I'll pass to you for the operating budget.
All right, I'm going to try to share my screen. And can everyone see my screen?
No, it says Melanie has started sharing her screen, but we can't see.
Oh, there it is. Okay. All right.
Just had a bit of a delay.
Okay. So this is our second quarter, and I'm just going to go over the highlights. So this is the end of September, right? So taxes are flat, as is grants in lieu. Our services provided to other government, that is the Triton. We're trailing behind in Triton criminal record checks. Our license and permit fees, the building fees, the end of September were below budget, but I can tell you now they're back up where we expected them to be. The fines are at $35.97 versus we thought they'd be at $17.50, so we've already got more fine revenue than we even budgeted at $3,500. Our rentals, leases, and sales, the end of September, it had a little bit of Grant Potter Park Canada Helps funds that have since been moved, but at the end of September they were still in there. So that will be flat. Return on investments is pretty much flat, 11.5 versus 12.5. Penalty and interest on taxes are what they are at 97.32. Concessions and franchises, 104,344 versus 63,500. And of course, that is deed transfer. The end of September, it was 39,000 above where we thought it would be, and it's continuing to go. I think in October there were 2 house sales, and in November, as of right now, we've had 2 house sales in November. Unconditional transfers to other government, 129,708 versus 161,147, and that's the equalization grant, and I expect that just to be timing difference only. Recreation's at 50 versus 49, marketing 60.8 versus 61. For total budget revenue was 1.758, and we've come in at 1.746. Again, it's just timing. Any questions with the revenue?
No.
Okay, carry on with the expenses. So we'll do general government first. So legislative, it's 83.9 versus 99. And that legal and engineering are below budget. And I expect at this point, it's timing difference only. General administrative, 123 versus 129. And I looked over the accounts and all I could see is a few variances here and there. And I think it's just timing difference. Taxation and 8.5 versus 25, and that is repairs and maintenance. But that's going to continue to be below budget because we ended up capitalizing the heat pump upstairs, and we thought we could put it through the operating, but they're not. They're gone into a different, their capital. General administration 18.6 versus 21. That's for the most part flat. We expected the total for general government at this point to be 275.9, and it's at 234. So again, some of that will be below for the rest of the year, and some is timing difference. Any questions there?
Nope.
Okay, so now we'll move on to protective services. Police protections 260 versus 293, and I looked and I couldn't see anything, just a little bit here and there. And again, I expect timing difference. Law enforcement 1,112 versus 8,177. And that was the answering service for Bridgewater, and that has since come in October. So again, that was just a timing difference. Fire protection 145 versus 142. It's for the most part flat. No emergency measure fees yet. And trees, animals 33,173 versus 38, and that's just a timing difference. That's all that is, the tree replacement timing difference only. Any questions there?
No.
Okay, moving on to transportation. So common services 76 versus 98. And again, I look through, it's just timing difference when we think it's going to come in and when it comes in. Road transport 86.7 versus 109. We do have an asphalt spending 16,000 below what was budgeted, so that's what's making up the bulk of that. For environmental health, sewerage and health service 89 versus 98. These were all just little accounts, a little bit here and there that I expect timing difference. Garbage collections flat, so 143 versus 151. Recreation and marketing, 45,411 versus 49. And again, they were just various accounts. There was nothing that jumped out anywhere. Marketing 41 versus 39. And all that is that we're spending our marketing budget a little bit faster than when we thought we would. So again, it's just a timing difference. So we budgeted 89, come in at 86.8. It's pretty close to budget. Any questions there?
Nope.
Okay, and then the cultural service, 12.8 versus 13.8. That's pretty much flat. Economic development is flat. Fiscal service
Oh, you,
flat. Unconditional transfers to other government, 146.55 versus 144. And that is planning costs are trailing behind. And again, I just assume that's a timing difference only. So we expected to have a surplus of 285.8 the end of September, and we actually have one of 417,180. So that's where we end halfway through the year.
and it's primarily gating, sorry, timing.
It's just a timing difference. Some things we will have a higher sales because of the deed transfer again. It appears to be blowing up again this year.
Okay.
And some costs are below what we thought they would be. But I think at this point, it's just a timing difference.
All right. Good.
Okay, I'll stop sharing that. And then are you ready for me to move on to the capital budget then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Just let me know when you can see it.
There it is.
Okay. So,
You can see it.
everyone can see it?
Yep.
Okay. So our recreation at the end of September, we had budgeted to spend 59.6. We've spent 45.9, and it's my understanding we will be spending the remainder of that funds. The broadband tower, the end of September, we'd spent 16.8. Our heat pump here at Town Hall, which I just spoke about, we budgeted 85. We spent 77. The sewer camera, pretty close, 14.8, and we budgeted 15. The sewer baffle, right now we spent 25,709 for a budget of 35. The spare sewer pump came in at 8,000, just below 9,000. The heat pumps at Public Works came in at 11,313 versus 12. The shoreline restoration FRIP, we've only spent 7,200 of the 41,9. The computerized crosswalks, we've spent 18,600 for a budget of 21,900. We haven't spent any money for the local leadership for climate adaptation, the 1 million, or the Chapel Street Force Main extension at the end of September. And that 1.738605 agrees with your amended budget the last time we amended the capital budget.
Right.
So, any questions there?
Is shoreline restoration, it's being deferred, but is that the bulk of that 1,700,000, sorry, the 1,158,000? Like it's not happening in the spring, is that why?
No, we haven't received any invoices from
No invoices.
CB West at this
Okay.
point. I sent them an email the other day and asked them, like, are they gonna get quarterly invoices? And I haven't had a response yet.
Thank you.
So just, yeah, waiting on that.
Melanie,
Yes.
so is the broadband, the tower, is that completed? So that is all the money they'll need, or will they be spending the remainder?
No, they'll be spending the remainder.
Okay,
Yeah, this was the end of September and it's still not complete yet. And here it is November, so.
We
right.
have most of the parts done to that project. We're just waiting for some electrical to be connected. We were waiting for some galvanized parts to come in. They finally came in and they went up the tower, I think just last week, to install those. So yeah, we're continuing to work on that project little by little. It's taking longer than we expected.
Thank you.
Okay. Should we move on then?
Sure. Okay, now it's the water utility. Income statement, water utility. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we're pretty much right on track with our water sales for residential, commercial, fire hydrant. We budgeted 252,180. We're at 256,973 because we had a little bit more sales in residential and commercial, not much, but a little bit. So then our expenses, the water we buy from the county, we budgeted 55, it's coming in at 58,951. So that's a little bit higher than what we thought. The power, we budgeted 1.2, it came in at 4. All I look at down here is I look at the used and I look at anything over 100, and that's usually what I talk about. But if there's other things you want to talk about, that's fine. So for instance, other pumping expenses, we thought we'd be at 125. The end of September, we're at 186, but our total budget for the year was 250. So I'm not worried. That's just a timing difference. And then I would look at water testing expense, 72.49 versus 74.65, but our total budget's 14.5. That tells me their timing difference. Public Works salary is a little bit more than what we thought. We've had some challenges in our water and staffing with Public Works. So that's a little bit wonky, but holding our own. So of course, if salary's up, CPP and EI would be up. then I look at admin salaries, that's a little bit trailing behind, and that's because one of our employees works sometimes 3 days a week, sometimes 4 days a week. Another employee has been away for a certain amount of time, so their salary didn't get expended. So I would expect EI and CPP to be below, but they're actually above, but that again is just a timing difference. And then the admin general office and admin expense, I just kind of add those together. So the 11 and the 4 and the 7 and the 12. So there's just some kind of thing that needs to be sorted out there, but as long as together they're about the same, I don't worry. So really, we thought we would have at the end of September, halfway through the year, we thought we'd have a 56,361 positive surplus, and we actually have a 71. That's not to say I don't think we'll still have the deficit at the end of the year. I think we will, but things are coming in, and I think it's a timing difference here. But other than that, everything's on track for our water utility. As you know, we're in the throes of doing a water rate study, so yep.
And we also had that water main break. I'm not sure if it was in October
Right.
or September, I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was in September, Sandy.
Okay, so the bills might not be showing up in there yet. And
Yeah.
then they just paved that road the other day, so that invoice will be for the road paving will come
Yeah.
in later as well. So just to remind people that we did have that one water main break, so that will show up.
Any questions there?
Just as Sandy, can she turn up her mic a bit?
Maybe.
Maybe my hearing's going to, I don't know.
All right. Is that it then, Melanie?
Those
From
are
your
your,
end?
those are your three main,
Budget.
yep,
All good
All right.
numbers.
all good
Thank you
numbers.
very
Everything's
much.
straight on track.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Melanie.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Right.
You're
So
welcome.
our next piece of new business is the town-owned properties. Sandy, do you want to introduce that or?
Yep, so in your package, you had the request to write off the taxes for the two town-owned properties, and there should be a draft motion there for you to.
Can I have a motion?
Sure. I move to recommend that council approve the write-off of roll number 00092398 and roll number 04997409, final taxes in the amount of $856.24 and $3,956.01 respectively for the town of Annapolis Royal for the town-owned properties.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimously carried. We'll move on to the water credit. And Sandy, I'll let you say anything you want to say about it.
I think most of the information is in the RFD. We've had the credit on the books for a number of years now, so we're just tidying up our accounts payable receivables.
I move to recommend to council to write off the credit balance of $160 of HRI 001 and absorb into income.
I'll second that.
Any discussion required? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimously carried. All right, we'll move on to the water utility receivable collection procedure policy. Again, Sandy, do you want to say anything about it?
There's not much change to the policy, so we've done a little formatting. We have taken out the cost of the on-offs and stuff like that in the policy because they're in the fines and fees policy. So we remove them from there so that after our water rate study, if the amounts change, then we just have to do a quick policy change. So we've removed those costings for that. I think it's just minor changes throughout the policy.
Housekeeping.
I move to recommend to council to repeal and replace the water utility receivables collection policy number 2025-17 dated November 2025.
I'll second that.
Right, any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously carried. All right, so then the next topic is the financial condition indicators. I guess everybody's had a chance to look at that. Seems pretty much on track with where it usually is. Any comments?
It's nice to see us out of the yellow for a
Yeah.
couple of them.
Yeah, and
Amory?
so I think I shared with Amory and Sandy the FCIs for this year that you won't see until next year, and they're even better than this year. So,
Oh, great.
And I shared them all.
Congratulations.
I did share them with all
Yeah.
council.
okay.
It's nice to see the NSPI tackled under 15%.
I know.
Well done.
And with that, I'm going to leave. See that little
Thank
man
you.
walking through the door? That's
Have
going
a
to
good
be me.
evening.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thanks,
Okay,
Melanie.
enjoy the rest of your conference, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Right, we'll move on to the Annapolis Royal Fall cleanup. The information is there. Do you want to say anything, Sandy? And then
No,
this-
I just included that in the agenda package so the public could see that we're having one on Saturday and the meet location is at the farmer's market. And hopefully people will come out and support the cleanup.
The farmer's market, like the square down by the water, or because it's now the winter market's at the church.
Oh, so our
Okay,
yes, Market
yeah.
Square.
Perfect.
so
10 a.m. on Saturday.
clean up
Can't wait.
leaves and eat cookies and hopefully all will be good. All right.
All
Any,
tools provided.
yeah, any further discussion needed?
I
No?
thought we were supposed to bring what tools we had.
Yeah, no, I think we're supposed to bring our own. Does it say
Yeah.
that? in
It
the-
says the EAC will be providing some tools, a trailer for accommodating
Yeah.
debris. And rumor has it cookies. All you need is enthusiasm and a quote a line, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I'm
Shovels
bringing the
and-
trailer and the cookies.
There you go. Let's bring cookies.
All right, look forward to seeing everyone. So then the next topic is the Clean Foundation engagement session. The slides were there in the back, or sorry, I'm getting topics mixed up. So the point is that they will be coming on the 24th and have a table at our engagement. Reminder that I won't be there. Anything else to say about it, Sandy?
Yeah, so, and I don't have the package in front of me, because I can't get both happening with the bandwidth here. But there is a page, if someone could go on and say the dates. I think it is the council date that we
Oh,
have
right.
the
The
public
19th.
meeting.
Yeah,
And it's at the fire hall, if
Fire home, yeah.
I'm correct, I think from 1 to
it is the 19th, yeah.
So hopefully the public will come out and attend the meeting. It's they're looking to gather information on climate change, our climate change action report that we're doing with the County of Annapolis and the town of Middleton. So looking, yeah, for people to come up, answer some questions, give their input, give a little bit of knowledge of what they're looking for to see in our joint action plan.
No, I've got it in my agenda. I'm planning to be there.
Good.
It's from 1 to 3 too,
Yeah,
at the fire hall.
okay. Moving on to unfinished business, council engagement session, November 24th. And sorry, this is where the shoreline restoration will have a project table also, and I will not be there for that.
Yes, and so they're just, so it's mostly to come meet and talk with council on any questions you may have. But we are also going to have a table about the shoreline restoration project. There's no presentation. It's just, there will be a table. You can come up and ask your questions, and the project lead and somebody from Clean Foundation will be there and some staff, town staff will be there, just to kind of, if you have any questions, concerns about the project. We have a little bit of a change to the design. The project is looks like still going forward. It will start now in fall of 2026 instead of spring of 2026. And they're going to have some maps and some information there for anybody that's interested in the project.
Okay. Any further discussion on that topic?
I had a question.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Amory.
Oh, just had a question. I know there was the public engagement for Shoreline, but there was also our own public engagement.
Yeah,
Right?
the same day.
Yeah, the same day. And I was wondering, because there was talk about us perhaps putting the communications plan on to start on that project. I'm just wondering where that went.
So we were waiting, staff were waiting to find out what council wanted to do. We
Yeah.
just picked the date and looking
Yeah.
for direction of council. If you're going
Yeah.
to talk about the communication plan, what you need to have us set up, or
Yep.
if it was just a regular meet and greet.
So we had thought that we could start work on the communications plan with the public at that meeting, but that was just one option. So I'm just wondering if there's an appetite to get started on it, because we did say 2025 we'd start work on it.
So I guess what you need is somebody to facilitate the discussion with the public, or?
Well, it's something we could do ourselves, but in preparation, if staff could even give us a list of all the existing mechanisms, that would be great background to share.
We could set up boards if you just want people to put sticky notes on ideas that they have. Depends on, like, I wasn't sure if this was a structured meeting because there was no discussion. It was just pick the date. And so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If you're ready to have a full meeting on one topic, or
I think it would be worth at least trying to get a little bit more information from the public, like as Amory said, to start the process. If my memory serves me correctly, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but if my memory served me correctly, the last thing I recall us talking about was getting the list of all of the communication channels that Amory mentioned, that were active. So, because we can make a list of everything, but not everything's been active, necessarily, or we don't know how active it is. But I think that I like your idea of putting something up, Sandy, and letting people kind of maybe give us their ideas initially about how they would like to be communicated with. And that gives us a starting place about how to apply how they're feeling, like what they're thinking about, to the things that we already have in place, and see where there's gaps or whether there's things that are performing really well or that might be doing exactly what we need them to do.
So maybe like a paper survey, so you could have like the list what we have now, check off which ones you prefer and add any extra ideas. We could just leave paper surveys for people to look at and give a little feedback.
Yeah, and even if we just wanted to make it more engaging, we just came out of an engagement session this afternoon about giving people kind of creative ways to do exactly what you're saying, Lynn, but just a little bit more, not the usual just flat piece of paper, but putting up a little poster, let people check things off, or drop a chip in a bucket to say, this is the bucket that I think is most important, or, it was the notion that people get more involved if it's a little bit more unusual or a slightly more engaging approach than just a piece of paper.
As long as it doesn't cause the staff any extra time.
Well, everything takes staff time,
Yeah.
but we could
Even the piece of paper.
yeah, but we could probably put something together and just get it to Sandy too.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
things that we know. What do you think, Sandy? Does that sound like it's doable?
We can make it happen. It just, like, so we're here all week. right? So then next week there's a short week with
Yep.
Remembrance Day. So, and then it's the following Monday, is it not? Or is there another week in there? There's another week in there.
Another week.
Oh,
There's another week in there.
no problem. We can pull that off.
There, see, look at that. Thank you.
Yes.
Like we could just make little boxes or something for people
could
to
do
drop
something
chips
fun.
into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. We can make it like a raffle.
And we also wanted to know, I think I was supposed to ask them about
How many people are we gonna
food
cater
and
for?
drinks if we wanted the Legion. Was it, yeah, we're doing it at the Legion.
Yeah, we were trying to, I mean, I think the most we've ever had is about 30 people, right? Except for when we were actually
Yeah,
as candidates, so that was the best estimate I could come with.
Yeah, so we'll just order some coffee and some sweets from the Legion.
The only thing I would note about that, Sandy, is just that because the shoreline restoration update is part of it, that last shoreline meeting was very well attended.
Yeah,
Like-
so it's not really an update. I don't want people coming to think that they're gonna have a presentation. They're
Okay, that's
right. It's just to come to ask your individual questions one-on-one.
perfect.
But yeah, so we might get more people that are interested in that project. So yeah, so we'll order some stuff then and
There's usually too much food anyway, so
always.
there's always leftovers, so.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys
So
say?
30 or 50? 30. 30, okay.
That's what you wanted to bring up?
That's it.
Oh, that's good. Anything further on that topic? Okay,
so it's a communication plan and the shoreline restoration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Great, we'll get something pulled together.
so moving on to correspondence, nice thank you letter from the Academy. Any comments? And then
We appreciated the
letter-
trees.
Yeah. And the Property Assessment and Municipal Modernization Act letter, any comment to that? So we're now at the portion of the meeting where we'll move into camera under section 22(2) of the Municipal Governance Act to discuss by Roger.
Bye,
to
Roger.
discuss-
Bye, Roger.